Hi, lovelies, welcome back. This week I'm going to talk a little bit about disappointment, as that was a request that I got recently. And disappointment is something that, as I'm sure I'm not alone, I've really kind of struggled to see as the same. If you're familiar with this understanding, if you've watched my past videos, you know that disappointment isn't fundamentally different than anything else we think and feel. But all of us have our own thoughts or feelings that seem like exceptions to the rule. It's like, oh, okay, it's great to know that, you know, everything we think and feel is transient. Everything we think and feel is impersonal. We just, like I said with cards on the deck metaphor, if life is a deck of cards, we're all going to get each card at some point. So it's not that things are as personal as they seem. It's just that it's really easy to not see the impersonal nature of it when it's our turn. We also know that thoughts and feelings are a lot safer than they actually appear, that in the moment, consciousness brings it to life and it's gripping and it's real and it's powerful and it is a full sensory experience. And it looks like our reality, it tastes like our reality, it feels that everything about it is, this is reality, until we notice that it's changed within a minute, 5 minutes, half an hour, a day, and suddenly what looked so real doesn't seem that real. This is part of the illusion. So it's easy to kind of see that in a broad way and say, yeah, I get that it's temporary, and I get that it's safe, and I get that it's impersonal, but it's different when it comes to my thing. And a lot of people will say, well, my thing is anxiety, or my thing is heartbreak, or my thing is a habit or addiction. But when we step back from that, we can see that it's so easy for us to make anything an exception, including disappointment. So for me, disappointment did look kind of like an exception. It looked like, well, yeah, it just really, really sucks when you put time and effort and energy and enthusiasm and you do your best, and then life just lets you down, or somebody in your life lets you down, or a situation just lets you down, and you just feel so disappointed. To me, that felt like a really kind of powerful thing to be up against. But what I've started to see lately is that anytime we make something an exception, we close ourselves off to the natural power and the natural kind of gift that this understanding gives us. And that is basically this. We live in an illusory world. We live in an illusory experience of reality. But because it's an illusion, it's going to look real. And what coming across this understanding did for me, it's done so many things for me, but one of the things it's really done for me is allow me to not take things at face value. It's allowed me to see that just because something looks real and feels real and seems real doesn't mean it's real. And that's something that when I'm up against something that kind of looks like an exception, kind of looks like, yeah, I mean, it's all good and fine, but then when you're dealing with panic, it's different. Or when you're dealing with disappointment, it's different. Or when you're dealing with anxiety, it's different. It points me back to the direction of my mind can make anything seem different. It can make anything seem like the exception. But in reality, the power behind this is that it all looks the same. The power behind this is even when I'm completely stricken with full body panic, even when I'm completely so disappointed that I don't even want to get out of bed, when I'm so heartbroken that it seems like that's it, I give up on love. We've all had those feelings. I'm sure I'm not the only one who's felt those three things before. But what's different is this understanding allows me not to take that so seriously, and not to take that as I felt it, therefore it must be true, or I sensed it, therefore it must be true. And that is where the power lies, because then it kind of gets us out of our misconception that everything we think and everything we feel and everything we sense is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. It points us to, the trick is that you're going to feel it and it's going to seem like that even when that's not true. So when we allow our mind to create these exceptions and say, yeah, truth of the principles, I get that, but not this, it really doesn't work in our favor. It works against us, because then we start to actually believe well, these things are true exceptions. Disappointment is different. Disappointment is not just a thought or feeling, a reality of it being not fair or not okay or not, not feasible, that something didn't work out for us. It takes away the needing to dig into it. It takes away the, well, I have to look at the disappointment, I have to look at the form, I have to sit down with myself and see what I could do differently next time. Maybe sometimes that's what our wisdom will have us do. Maybe in our quiet moments, a bit of reflection and a bit of kind of perspective widening is what we needed to see in that moment and what we needed to learn from something. But so often when we make things exceptions to the rule, we take ourselves away from the power that the principles offer us and the gift that this understanding gives us. And we make it seem like this is different, this needs special treatment, this is something that needs a different approach. And that's where we get ourselves into a whole mess of complexity, confusion, and just really don't do ourselves any favors, because we're going away from the simplicity of how our experience works and moving something off to the sidelines and treating it differently. And now, so whether it's disappointment, whether it's panic and anxiety, whether it's heartbreak, whether it's, your habit or your addiction or a million other things that it could be for you, I want you to get a little bit skeptical of what your mind is making be an exception to this rule. Like, yeah, it all works like this, experience works like this, thoughts and feelings are this, but not this thought and feeling, because that's where you're going to see yourself be caught up. So I'm really grateful that the person who recommended this topic recommended it, because it's an opportunity to see that as much as I can look back in my past and say that I've made disappointment mean something about me or about my life or about, guess I shouldn't dream big or guess I shouldn't rely on people. Like, it's so easy to go there. It's so easy to just get cynical about life and think that disappointment is requires something more of us than just seeing that, yeah, we're going to feel it. It's going to look like it sucks for a while and it's going to pass through. And so, yeah, hopefully you can start to see that whether it's disappointment or whether it's something else, that it's really our idea that things are different that gets us into trouble, not the feeling of disappointment itself. So as always, I hope this was helpful. Please leave any questions, comments, or video requests below. I love hearing from you guys. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I put out new videos every Friday, and I will be back with you next week. Lots of love. Take care. Be well. Bye.